I was delighted to see your op-ed in Fox News this morning. Nancy Pelosi needs to be removed from her post as Speaker. Your indictment is long but just, I would say. The hair thing is about the least or the last of it, but it was reminding me of what Madison wrote in the Federalist Papers about how our elected representatives can make no law which will not have the operation on themselves that it has on the great mass of the rest of society. And she breached that fundamental connection with society, didn't she? That's what irks people, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why you see so many people who own salons around the country coming unglued about Nancy Pelosi's actions. But Seth, don't forget, it wasn't just a matter of her going in
right
and violating
no
the law.
It wasn't.
It was it was when she got caught
right
doing what we see so many authoritarians do.
Right.
They blame everybody else and try to destroy this poor single mom who's trying to make ends meet, has been without business and customers for months. And Nancy Pelosi sets out to destroy her.
Yeah, it reminded one of nothing quite so much as Marion Barry, quite honestly. That's where a lot of brains went and a lot of minds went, and it was a terrible look. But, you know, as I said, it's not the worst of her offenses, and you point out a long train here, referring to Donald Trump as an enemy of the state, federal and law enforcement agents as stormtroopers. One wonders if she's just completely unwound. I don't know if you'll have success in removing her from her post, but I'm glad you put the indictment out there.
Yeah, I'm. So first of all, I'm working with our Republican leadership trying to get them to put it forward, because here's the other thing that most people don't realize. There was a major rule change when Nancy Pelosi came in because they had the majority, and it was to prevent anybody from doing this other than the minority leader, Kevin McCarthy.
Interesting.
So very unusual rule change. Normally we let the chips fall where they may. You got to get the votes, but only Kevin McCarthy can actually introduce that now. So it's a real problem. But Nancy Pelosi, I think she is unhinged. I think Donald Trump lives in her head. I think the conservatives live in her head, and I think she just does not like President Trump viscerally. That's obvious. But she also hates, or appears anyway, to hate the people who follow Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's right. There is an arc here, and I guess I've noticed it for a while. But my ears really perked up when she was asked about a month and a half ago about the tossing of statues in Baltimore, and she said people will do what people will do. I thought, what an odd new standard that of impunity that she's articulating, and then that moves towards calling federal law enforcement agents stormtroopers. And then during the CARES negotiation, I think it was CARES, it was one of these relief bill negotiations, she said she was faced with a Sophie's choice. This Nazi imagery is all over her rhetoric. It's a very, very unhealthy thing, I think.
No, I agree with you. And I think it's not just symptomatic of Nancy Pelosi.
Correct.
It's symptomatic of the entire left right now.
Correct.
And I've always said that authoritarianism is inherent in the left.
Right.
Because you cannot engage in these massive government programs, social programs, welfare, whatever it is. You cannot engage without coercing people. Right. And I think Nancy Pelosi, I don't think years ago that coercing people would have been natural to her, but it seems to have become natural to her, and because just like all of her left colleagues, they're very comfortable with pushing down on anybody that disagrees with them, and we're the great unwashed.
Yeah, no, that's right. But then there's this weird thing that she almost feels like she has to keep, from what I can tell, I don't know her, it almost seems like she has to push further on the accelerator. She's never pumping these brakes. That signal came to me when she had a few choices in the Ilhan Omar re-election campaign. She could have sat it out. She could have endorsed her primary opponent, or she could have endorsed Ilhan Omar. She endorsed Ilhan Omar. And I thought that, too, was a weird signal here, that she is forcing that accelerator as hard as she possibly can against the floor of the car here.
Well, I think she is, and I think that, don't forget, people forget this, that it was so close in her speaker's race election last time that she had to go make a deal with the squad, that far left group that includes Ilhan Omar. And I think that the writing was on the wall. As soon as you saw people like the committee chairman from New York who was taken out long time ago.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So he is liberal. I mean, he's liberal. He's a lefty, but he's not a radical lefty.
Right.
And he also liked Israel.
Mm-hmm.
This move to anti-Israelism that's taking over the Democrat Party, particularly in Congress, it's palpable, it's real, it's moving that direction. And Nancy Pelosi likes being in power so much that she's willing to give in to these people. And Ilhan Omar actually has been coming out in the last week with some very radicalized statements as well. So
yeah, I think this Democratic Party is flirting with some very dangerous stuff. It's convenient for people to say it's not your grandfather's Democratic Party, and I agree with that, but I do think it may very well much look like their great-great-great-grandfather's Democratic Party from the 1860s, and it is not a healthy party.